couple of jobs today. I'm doing my Land Rover Defender Wolf, inspired by the fact that I'm going to the British Motor Museum for the Land Rover show at the weekend, and so I want to get these things done. Good inspiration. Jobs I've been meaning to do for a while. The main one is fitting the Pioneer fixing kit to the bonnet and then tidying up some bits and bobs inside. This Wolf was unusual. When I got it, it didn't have the Pioneer fixing kit for the tools on the bonnet. It's a replacement bonnet in great condition, but it meant it didn't have these fixings, which I've since bought off eBay. It comprises these bits here, which rivet onto the bonnet, and then these rivet on top with a strap underneath to hold the handle of the shovel and the pickaxe in place. You have to excuse the background noise of the German Shepherd wanting to play. So these arrived black. I've crudely painted these in some leftover NATO green paint that I had. It's not a very good finish, but I think it's fine for this. It's also not a perfect colour match. The paint, I had the choices of this abomination that I created and sprayed with some very cheap NATO green paint. It's washed up really badly, bad quality paint, bad buy, so I didn't use that. I also had some spare. You might be able to see my military 109 series 3 in the background, and so I used that paint instead, which is a bit of a better match. Not perfect, but I think it's fine for this. eBay, it did come with the pre-drilled holes though, and so my slight concern with this is that whether all of these fixings actually fit into the pre-drilled holes. Before I actually rivet any of these in, I'm just going to go around and kind of loosely fit them in place just to check if any need expanding or some only fit in some holes. So I'll quickly do that now. So you can see those don't all fit perfectly, but I think they'll just about be all right. They may not sit totally flush, but they'll be tight to the bonnet, and I think I'm just going to go for it. So caveat here, I have never riveted anything before, so we'll see how this goes. Wish me luck. So that was a bit harder than I expected. Maybe my lack of strength or riveting skills. A lot of these I'm having to go back over, and I couldn't get them off at first. So I'll have some renewed strength now and try and cut these off with the riveter. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong, but some of them have cut off halfway down, so I'll have to get those off with a hacksaw. Unfortunately, not ideal, but they're all held very firmly, so that should be fine. You can see we have these L-shaped brackets which sit on top of the bits I've just riveted in. So one this way, and then there'll be one on here and one on here to hold the handle in place. I think the rivets that I've been using, this riveter just can't handle. So I've actually got some rivets which are the same thickness but just have a slightly shorter base. I think that's fine for holding this on. I've tried one here and it's much easier to do, and it still seems very secure. So I hope that might get around the problem. Sorry about the camera blowing in the wind, by the way. I hope it's not making you seasick. So I'm going to go for those now. So you can see how much easier that was, and how much I was struggling before. So I think this riveter just the tool just can't handle the size of the rivets I was using, which is unfortunate because I'm going to have to cut some of these other ones off, which is quite annoying. But there we go, you live and learn. This is the part where the shovel sits under here, so I'll fit that in next. These rivets are so much easier. I wish I'd changed earlier. Anyway, there we go. Hopefully these work all right. So you can see there, that fits in quite snugly, a little bit tighter than I was expecting. And now it's a matter of just lining these up before I rivet them in to check that this is actually going to work. I'm picking up the pickaxe actually tonight, so this will be the pickaxe handle with the head going here. So I'll just rivet these end ones in place. I'm not going to put these in yet until I've got the handle. So you can see I've now finished getting these fixings on, and I've also, with the hacksaw, just the ones that I couldn't get off, those thicker rivets, I had to hacksaw the ends off. Obviously the rivet tool wasn't really manned for the job. The rivets were slightly too fat for it to manage, and try as I might, I couldn't get them off with, so I've used slightly thinner rivets, which has worked fine. They're fixed fine, so that's all good. You can see I've also attached this end fixing bracket which keeps the handle of the shovel in place, and the shovel comes under here, and you can see this bit of rubber that rivets to the bonnet, obviously to protect the bonnet from the shovel. I've got the pickaxe head very slightly cleaned up, and this is where that fixes. This wing nut, I'm trying to remember how they worked from my previous one. I think it should have a hole in the top, and I'm not sure that's the right wing nut, to be honest, because that obviously can't screw down any further and doesn't hold it in place, so I can't travel with it like that. But it's all right for when it's stationary. And then I've got, you can see the pickaxe head here. So what I did was I riveted this end bracket in place first, and then I just checked for length before putting the second one in. It was fine. You can see that fits snugly in. All these silver rivet tops I will another time go over with some NATO green paint. And then these straps, which obviously keep the handle in place, rivet under the fixing. So you can see one side of the fixing there on that side of the handle, and then this one is on the other side, so that it keeps it kind of firmly in place. And then what you do is, I'll show you on the shovel side, which I've still got to do, these straps rivet between this top bracket fixing and this bottom fixing. So you have to cut holes in the strap, bit of a pain, but I'll show you now on the shovel side. So you can see here this shovel fits under like this. Be careful not to get the bonnet, and fits in nicely in that bracket, so that's the right length. But as I mentioned earlier, I don't think this is right. I don't remember mine previous ones having this big gap here. I think this should be flatter to the fixings, so bit annoyed about that. They're quite difficult to find, the original old Wolf ones now, it seems. I'm going to go with this anyway. It's all I've got. And if I get a new shovel, it will still go on the same fixings anyway, so I will go for this. So that goes like that, and then the strap has to go underneath, like so. And then once you know how that's going to fit, so I'm just going to mark roughly so I know where that is to put the holes through. And you need to make sure they're big enough for the rivet head to get through, obviously. So I've made the holes in this strap, so the rivet goes through the top bracket, then through the strap, and then through the bottom fixing, if I can get it through this one. Harder than it looks, although I'm probably making it look quite hard. Right, there we go. So you can see that is quite straightforward when you use the rivets that are right for the tool. Make sure that's well pressed down. There we go. So then this fits over like that, and there we've got our strap in place, which I'm not sure I've done quite right, but there we go. That'll work. So now I'll repeat it for the final one. Right, done the holes in this final one, so we'll just rivet this on. Doing a final check that I've got the buckle the right way around before it's too late. Right, there we go. So let's stick this on. As I say, I don't think this is actually quite right. It doesn't sit as my previous one did, but we're going with it. So you can see these now are, really firmly attached to the bonnet. No problem about these coming off. So the final part of the Pioneer fixing kit is where the toe strap fits on the front here. So I haven't got one of the military toe straps. They cost a fortune, even second hand, and I, to be honest, just can't really justify it. So I carry a modern toe strap anyway. I'm just going to fit these on for the moment and leave it at that. Maybe one day I do get a toe strap and fit it properly, but I'm going to put these on anyway for the moment. There we go, the Pioneer toolkit is now fixed on with the fixings. Like I say, many people prefer to get the new tools. I quite like the rustic look. I'll show you from this side. It's not perfect, but I'm pretty pleased with it. I think it really finishes the look of the Wolves, and it felt like something was a bit missing without having the fixing kit on mine. So good to get this on. I'm sure there will be some things I've done wrong, so please do comment and let me know. It could have been done better, but as I say, it's done and on, and I'm reasonably pleased with that. So we're ready for the Land Rover show tomorrow.